Hello everyone. So this video is going to be a little bit weird, if that's what you want to call it. I'm going to be talking about my experiences with paranormal beings, and I guess that's what it is, I'm not sure. Since about 2010, I had lived in a different apartment complex than I lived in now, and then moved from the house to where I am currently, another apartment. So when I was at my first apartment complex, I never had any really experiences with paranormal beings. I would never see anything, I would never really hear anything, but I did have a lot of nightmares. This was from about the age of 3 to 11, no, 3 to 12 probably, and that's when I lived in the apartment complex, and I would have a lot of nightmares, and it was mostly things surrounding my window. I would see like creatures peering in with big eyes, and like they would be smiling, but they would be like ooh, but like it would be in a smile, and they just have really gnarly teeth, and it was a pink figure, and it had long nails, and it would pop up from my window or come from the top of the window, and it would never come in, but it would always just pop up, and it would always make that noise. It would always go ooh, like not like it was trying to scare me, not like a boo, but just like a oh kind of noise, and it scared me so bad, and I don't even know if that's relevant. That's I guess the start of it. And then I moved to a house, and that's when I started actually experiencing paranormal beings. Like, I started seeing a figure about 2 months after we lived in the house. I would see a male teenage figure. I could never see any details of the face. I could just tell he was kind of skinny and scrawny, pretty tall, like 5'7", ish, I guess. And like I said, I could never see any details. He would just look like a shadow. And so he would always be standing in my doorway, and the door would always be closed. I never slept with it open. I hardly ever had it open. It was always closed, and he would just stand there. And I mean, the first couple of times it really freaked me out. I was like, oh god, I am hallucinating, I'm crazy, because I was pretty depressed. I was diagnosed with severe depression and put on meds for it, and I was like, oh god, I'm seeing stuff because of meds, I'm seeing stuff because I'm depressed. And he would always just stand in the doorway, and sometimes in the middle of the night when I would go out to get a drink of water, I would see him standing in the living room. Like, here would be the living room, here was the hallway, and then the kitchen was over here. So I would have to come here, like, past the living room, and then go to the kitchen to get some water. And whenever I would look over, I would see it out of the corner of my eye, and I would look over, and I would see a shadow figure, which was the same figure I'd been seeing in my room. I would see him looking out the window, except the curtain was down, so I didn't know what he was looking at. He never turned around. One time, I was like, Dad, even though it looked nothing like my dad. It was just, I was foggy, I had just woken up, I was like, Dad. He never turned around, he didn't even disappear or fade away, nothing like that. But I would sit in my room, and I would see him out of the corner of my eye, and I would look over, and when I would look over, he wouldn't disappear, he'd fade, but it was still visible. It just looked kind of like a mist instead of a shadow now. And so I would look over, and I would see this like misty figure, still like a teenage boy, but not as clear as when I would just see him out of my peripheral vision. And he never moved, and then he would either be in front of my bedroom door, which was here, or my closet door, which was here. He would always be standing in a doorway, and then my dresser was in between them, so it was these two doors, and he would be standing in front of either of those, which were both always closed. And I became very attached to him. I used to talk to him, and then when we moved to this house, I stopped seeing him. And it did affect me pretty bad. As I was packing, I was like, oh god, you have to come with me, because I used to talk to him and tell him stuff that I would never tell anyone else. And so when we moved and I stopped seeing him, it affected me pretty bad. I would look over in the middle of the night hoping to see him standing there. He was never there. I still haven't seen him. And I told my dad about this. I was like, I'm seeing stuff, Dad. And he was like, are you seeing a girl? And my stepmom and my stepsister were like, yes, they were like, yeah, because we're seeing a girl. And I was like, no, it's not a girl, it's a boy. And they were like, well, we're seeing a girl, and her name's Rose, because the landlord's ex-girlfriend died of cancer in that house. And her name was, I'm pretty sure it was Rose. It might have been Roseanne, or like it was something with the name Rose in it. And they would always see the girl. I never saw her. I only saw the male figure, which I started calling Oliver, because the name Oliver, it seemed to fit him. And like I said, when I moved here, I didn't see him. But I always felt like I was being watched here. I didn't know what I was being watched by. I didn't know if it was alive, dead. I didn't know if it was in my head, or at one point I thought it was because I felt protected by Oliver in a way, like he was my guardian angel, or whatever you want to call him, but I felt very protected by him. And so when I came here, I felt very vulnerable, and I felt like I was being watched. And I don't know, so pretty much I've lived here for about a year now, and I haven't had any really paranormal experiences. I haven't seen anything, I haven't heard anything. That is until last night. And I'm sitting here in my chair, just on my computer, texting, writing, drawing, whatever, and I hear some thumping from my closet, which is right there. And it was a thumping, like something really heavy walking around. And I was like, okay, it might be the neighbors doing stuff downstairs, because that happens a lot when they're down there doing their thing. I can feel it on the floor, and my floor was thumping, but it wasn't it was just like something was very slowly walking, and it would be like 4 steps, and it was freaking me out. And then I started hearing like a growling, like a really deep growling from something big, and I was freaking out. I didn't know what it was from. And last night I had a dream about, it was a man who was running. He was running away from something, and then there was a big group of men, except they looked almost like cavemen in a way, and they were running away from something. And I looked over, and there were a bunch of trees in the way, like gnarly twisted trees, so I could only see I couldn't really see through them. But I looked over, and it was like a freeze frame, and they were running from a man with a pig face. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I'm just paranoid. I really don't understand what that is. I haven't heard any noises today. I haven't actually had a nightmare since I moved here until last night, and I woke up, and it was about 4:30 when I woke up, and I was like, I can't go back to sleep, so I've been up since 4:30, and I don't know if it is me or not, because we got a cat when we moved here, and she would always sleep in my bedroom right over there with me, on my bed, whatever. But then as summer approached, she'll still come in here and like take little cat naps, but she won't sleep in here overnight like she used to. And I was like, alright, maybe it's just hot, because it's a lot hotter in my room than it is in the rest of the house and the living room where she sleeps now. And so I was like, alright, maybe it's hot, maybe, I don't know. that's what I came up with, is that it was hot, so she was just sleeping out there. But then recently, about 2 weeks ago, she became extremely fascinated with my closet and getting into my closet, and when she would be in my closet, she would be pacing. Like, it would sound, she would be pacing like what it sounded like last night, except obviously she was in the living room and she's not a big animal, so you can't hear her pacing. But I went in there this morning to get something for my lizard. I got one of his heat lamps, and I walked in and I was like, there's something in here. And I was like, I'm so sorry to disturb you. If you're in here, please forgive me. I just need to get something. It's urgent. I need it. And I was shaking so bad. I started crying. I couldn't move. My knees locked. I grabbed the lamp. I said sorry. I turned off the light and I closed the door. And my cat has been fixated on the door ever since earlier today, which was about 10:30, 11-ish, earlier in the morning, and I kicked her out right now because she was being obnoxious. So that is my experience with the paranormal, if you can call that paranormal or not. That might just be me hallucinating. If I hallucinate, I don't know, because I mean, I've never seen anything other than Oliver, or really even heard anything. Like, Oliver never spoke to me. I would talk to him for hours on end, and he would never speak. He would just stand in the doorway. He would either be in my bedroom doorway or the closet doorway, and he would never come towards me. He never gave me a sign that he was there. One time I laid out a pen and a paper, and I was like, if you're here, show me. These are the lightest things I could find in my room. If you would, like, write something or move, that'd be fantastic. And then I went to school, came back, nothing there. So, and I mean, I never heard anything, I never saw anything other than Oliver until last night, and I haven't seen anything, thank God. Wait, no, that's not true. This morning, when I woke up from my dream, I saw a man. It wasn't Oliver, it was a man. It was a tall man holding a dog, but he was like on a leash. He was like a big dog, like a German Shepherd or a Mastiff. Two very different sized dogs, but you get what I'm saying. It was a big dog. It looked like a really big German Shepherd. That's, like I said, it was only the outlines again, like how I would see Oliver. It was only the outlines of the man and the dog. And I woke up and I freaked out. I knew it wasn't Oliver. I looked up at first and I was like, oh God, it's Oliver. And I looked up and then I realized it wasn't, and I got up, I turned my light on, and I was like, okay, not doing this. So I will keep you guys updated on that. I've been really paranoid today. I keep looking back at my closet. That's because I feel like something's going to bust through my door and, like, attack me. Like, my biggest fear is not something busting through my door and coming and attacking me. It's something busting through my door, crawling on all fours super fast, and just stopping at my feet and looking up at me. I don't know why. Since I was a little kid, that thought freaked me out. And yeah, so I don't exactly know what to make of this. I'm not claiming to be psychic, or I don't even know if this can be considered a paranormal experience. I don't know if Oliver was a ghost. I don't know if that closet thing is just me hallucinating and being paranoid. I don't know. I don't know if the dream had anything to do with it. I don't know. I mean, I know I've said that like 100,000 times in this video, but it's because I really do not know. So thank you guys for watching and taking the time out of your day to watch this, 15-minute long video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to tell me anything, feel free to either email me or just leave a comment. And yeah, thank you guys. Bye.